What's up, guys? What's up? This is Cast22 here. Listen, like, comment, subscribe down below. Man, I love this. I love this. So, part 1, 2, and 3 previously, if you watched the other videos, it was about factoring the trinomial. Now we're factoring the difference of square. So, quick disclaimer. Please brush up on your multiplications, the 2s, the 4, the 5s, the 6. So when I say that, the perfect multiplication, I mean 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16, so on and so forth, okay? Because in this section, that's going to help a lot. So let's get to it. So the z squared minus 81. So question 1, that's what it's saying. So z to the power 2 minus 81. So basically, same rule apply. We're just going to attack this aggressively. We're just going to look at this 81 and we're going to ask ourselves, what two numbers by itself when we multiply will give us 81? And we know it's 9. 9 times 9 is 81, okay? So from there, since this is factoring, obviously it's written right there. We'll take this, and take that. We see it's z squared, so we'll put the z right there, put a z right here, and we see that there's a minus sign, okay? So with this minus sign, we also know that in order for that to work, we need two numbers, one that's positive and one that's negative, and when we multiply it, it will obviously give us this negative 81, okay? And we already established that that's 9 times 9. So wherever we put this positive 9 or negative 9, it doesn't really matter, but just know it goes on both sides, okay? So when we FOIL this, you get z squared negative 9z plus 9z minus 81, and we add these like terms, get z squared, that goes adios because that's negative 9, that's a positive 9, that's 0, get negative 81. This checks out with this, okay? So this right here is your final answer, okay? I just brought this and rewrote that down there, okay? But quick advice, since this is a difference of square, just remember difference, okay, means subtraction. Just remember this right here, guys. Anytime you see this, just know it'll equal this. So use this formula and it'll help a lot, okay? This right here, that's the golden child right there. A squared minus b squared equals a plus b times a minus b. Okay, and remember, you can flip these two around, okay, vice versa. Alright, next, number 2, same rule applies. Let's say you had something written like this, m squared minus 4. Don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate anything, just attack it aggressively, kind of like we did. You just look at this 4 and just ask yourself, okay, what two numbers when we multiply it by itself will give us 4? We already know it's 2 and 2. So okay, this right here is our final answer, and don't forget this right here, okay? Don't forget this formula right there. Just keep that buried in the back of your head. You can see how that applied, okay? 3. Okay, so 3 is a little different, okay? The reason why I say 3 is a little different is because, as you can see, these previously two problems, we only had a variable to a power of 2, variable to a power of 2. Now we have a coefficient written out front, correct? And then we have our variable to the power of 2 minus some number, okay? So what I usually explain to people who are kind of confused with this, just break it down, okay? So I'll box this up and I'll box this up, okay? So when I box this up, let's focus on this. We know this is 4z squared. So then we ask ourselves, okay, what two numbers when I multiply it by itself will give me 4? So, and by that I mean 2 times 2. Okay, so we got that established. So I'll put a 2 here, correct? And I'll put a z here, okay? Then I'll put a square right there. So the reason why I did that is because in other terms, when I take this 2 and I distribute this 2 here to both of these numbers, 2 raised to the power of 2 gives me 4, because 2 times 2 is 4, okay? And then z squared will just give me z squared. Okay, that's fine. So there's a negative right here. Just drop that down, correct? And then I do the same with this 81 as well. I ask myself, what number, when I take that number by itself and I multiply it again by itself, will give me 81? It's 9. So it's 9. And then I'll write the square right there as well. Okay? So then I can break this down. So when I look at this question, I already know I can break it down automatically by factoring this. Okay? So we already established there's going to be a 2 and a 2 here, because that will give me this 4, correct? And I have a z and a z here, correct? Because that will give me the z squared. And now we have to figure out this -9. Okay, so with this -9, I'll have a positive and a minus sign right there. Okay? And then I have a 9 here and a 9 there. Okay? Because look, we're trying to get back to 81. Okay? So when I FOIL this, 4z squared minus 18z plus 18z minus 81, correct? Those two go bye-bye. You have 4z squared minus 81. Okay? So, oops, 2z plus 9. This right there is your final answer. And don't forget this. Okay, this is the golden child. That same rule, with, this formula, we apply that same rule. Alright, one more, last but not least. Let's say we had something like this. And there's going to be a part 2, because obviously it gets harder over time. Same rule applies. Let's not overthink it. We have to ask ourselves 2 numbers. That will give us 16 when we multiply it right by itself. Okay, and then a 9. So we already know 4 times 4 will give us 16, correct? So write a 4, parentheses, and then we have an x. We'll drop the x, put a parentheses, a square, correct? Drop the minus sign, then ask ourselves the same question about the 9. So we know 3 times 3 will give us 9. Put that there. And since this is factoring, we put a factor sign there, factor sign here, factor sign there. Then we ask ourselves the same question. Okay, 4 times 4 will give us 16. So what 2 numbers when I multiply by itself will give me 16? So 4 and 4. Then this says an x squared. Okay, bada bing. X here, x there. And then we have a -9. And then put an addition sign. And we got our 3 here. And our 3 here. Don't forget this formula. This is the golden child. What we have right here is exactly what we put right there. Okay? So, that pretty much wraps it up, guys. Don't overthink anything. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe if you have any questions. Please feel free to shoot me an email or leave me a comment down below with any more suggestions. Please stay tuned for part 2, because obviously, like I said, it gets a little more tricky than what I kind of showed you with these 4 examples. Keep practicing, stay safe, and I wish you the best. See you guys next time.